Right, so did some new rat-related stuff, which I'm going to show off. I'll show you the animations, and then I'll show you them in the actual game. So this is the squish animation, just the blood part. This is what the blood will look like in the actual game, but the actual rat itself is just a rough draft. As I've mentioned a bunch of times, the main character, the woman, is going to be a real person filmed on a green screen, and then also the rats will be real. But until I have the actual, shots, I just use like rough draft animations like this. But anyway, this is what the blood will look like when you squish a rat by jumping on it or by squishing it on a wall. And then when a rat dies, they start bleeding into a puddle. And this is the puddle blood animation. It's pretty simple also. I'll speed it up a bit. So yeah, those are the animations. Those are both really easy. Like I did those both really quick, but they don't really need any more detail than that. So this is the actual game. So one thing you'll notice is the rats now have a random size. So some of them are small and some of them are larger. The smaller they are, the faster they move. So if I jump on a rat, like this one, it played the squish animation and then it slowly bleeds out into a puddle. So I can kill them by jumping on top of them, like that. I can also kill them in two other ways. If they're climbing on a wall, I can squish them on the wall, like this. So now he's squished on the wall. And as you're squishing him, he's stuck on the wall, and then right when you stop squishing him, he falls down. So I'll try it again. See, squish, stuck for a bit, and then he falls down. Yeah, I'll show you some, try to show you like all the different cases. The other way you can kill it is by jumping on top of it, like this. It's kind of hard to see there, but when you squish it against the wall, it's stuck on the wall for a bit and then it falls when you move away. Whereas when you jump on top of it, it pushes the rat down at the speed you're moving at. Let's see if I can show it again. So you can jump on it on the ground, you can squish it on a wall, or you can jump on top of it. Oh crap, let me try again. They all kind of look a little bit different. So like, see, I jump down on top of it and it pushes the rat down to the ground, and then right when it hits the ground, it splashes. Whereas when it's on the wall, it'll splash when I hit it on the wall, freeze for a bit, and then fall to the ground and then splash again. And I make it so that when they land on they rotate a bit in the air, and then when they land on the ground, the logic is such that it's like kind of random. So when they land in a pile, like you see I'm standing next to, I didn't want them to all exactly overlap each other. So the amount that it over rotates is slightly random. But yeah, I was pretty happy with that. Oh yeah, also if you kill it on an edge, like I just did, the blood is masked to the ground. And I was thinking about having it like in this case, if you kill it while it's like way hanging over the edge, then I was thinking of maybe just making it fall off, but I decided it looks fine like this. I kind of like it. And like I showed just there, which you probably didn't notice, if it's not falling fast enough when it hits the ground, it won't do another splash animation when it hits the ground. So yeah, so that's all the rat related stuff. There's going to be a counter on the side, like right here, of how many rats you've killed. And the more rats you kill, by the time you get to a boss, the harder the boss is, because the boss is like a giant rat. So it's like a karma-based system where you want to avoid killing rats, because rats pose no harm to you. They just kind of walk around doing nothing, minding their own business. So if you kill rats, when you eventually get to a boss, the more rats you've killed, the harder the boss is. So yeah, so another thing I was working on is when you damage enemies now, it shines red to indicate that it was damaged. So now, like, it's kind of turning into an actual game now. So I can like pick an enemy, you know, jump on it a bunch of times until it dies, and then when it's in like a puddle like this, it has a certain amount of dead HP until it dissolves like that. So now I can actually hurt enemies and kill them like that. And the only other thing I have to do is like allow the enemies to hurt me so that, you know, I can die. But I kind of like how it shines red. Let's refresh. So I'll kill a few more rats and then kill a few more enemies, and I guess that's it for now. You can see like this fat rat is moving slower than that smaller rat is because of the size. Oh yeah, and also when I jump on an enemy, if I hold the up arrow, I can jump, I can bounce higher. I'll go to where there's some more enemies to show you. So I can control how high I bounce. See, this is a small bounce. Small bounce, small bounce, small bounce. But I can also hold up to do a larger bounce like this. Large bounce, large bounce, large bounce. So yeah. Oh yeah, actually there are a couple more things I could show you. But yeah, jump on a rat, squish it on the wall, let it fall to the ground. When it lands on the ground, it rotates to go horizontal a bit. It doesn't just instantly go horizontal. I'm not using a real physics engine. I'm doing it all myself, so it looks kind of wonky, but I want it to be like that. I don't want it to be perfect physics. Yeah, so one thing I can show you. Oops. Just for fun. See, like this is the random rat scale. The smallest it can be is 75% of what the normal size is, and then 1.25, 125%. But if I wanted to, I could make it even smaller or larger. See what this looks like. So if I really wanted to have giant rats, I can do that. Whoa, looks ridiculous. Oh gosh, that's not good. Yeah, I've actually never tested it with the giant rats before. When I killed it just now, the splash animation isn't showing up right, but that's some kind of weird bug that would only happen when the rat is like ridiculously large. Let me see on this rat. See if the splash shows up right. Maybe I do need to fix that. Let me just go back to the way. Whoops, go back to the way it was. Yeah, it's kind of hard to position everything correctly with the different scales. I thought it was. I'd never tried it with the ridiculously big rats before. I think with the sizes I chose though, it's fine. There's no noticeable difference. It's only when the rat gets really, really big that it gets all messed up. Let's try this one here. Yeah, it looks fine to me. I like how, like, if I jump on top of them, it pushes them down. So yeah, so that's one thing. I'll also show you, I did a bit of work on the player getting hurt. So you can see how when I jump on these, it shines red. I did a similar thing for the player. So this is just some test code. I'm just saying every time I press right, pretend that the player got damaged. There's also blue damage, red damage, and purple damage, which corresponds to these hearts. So if I have a power up and I get hurt, I lose a purple heart. And if I run out of purple hearts, I lose my power up. If I don't have a power up and I get hurt, I lose a red heart. If I lose all my red hearts, I die. And then the blue hearts are for a mini game that happens when you talk to NPCs, which I haven't done yet. But if I wanted to pretend that the player was getting hurt, I can add this test code in. So now every time I press right, the player will shine red. Similarly to how the slime is shining red. It doesn't actually cover the entire player. There's like a little bit of like a black outline kind of. That's not intentional, but I think it looks fine, so I'm gonna leave it. But with the way Pixie.js works, it's kind of complicated and I'm not an expert on it, but if the image is white, you can tint it to any color you want. But if the image isn't white, like for example, the dame right now is like a dark blue. If the image isn't white and you want to tint it to whatever you want, what you have to do is any color can be tinted to black. So what I do is I put a tint filter to black, then I put another filter that inverts it, which turns it to white, and then I do another filter which tints it. And I also combine the tint filter with an alpha filter so that it does like the fade effect. But that's why you see like a bit of a black outline, is because it's actually getting tinted to black, inverted, and then tinted again. It's kind of complicated. But I think it actually looks better that way, so I'm happy that that worked out that way. And the reason you don't see that outline on the slime is because the slime image is actually white to begin with. I tint it to be green to make it look like this, but the slime doesn't have that outline because it's just a white image in actuality. I can also jump on a slime and kill a rat at the same time like that, which is kind of cool. And I can also show you, like, if I had a power-up and I got hurt, instead of shining red, it would shine purple like this, or pink, I guess. And then if I was in a talking to an NPC, there's a mini game that relates to your charisma. And when you lose the minigame, you lose a blue heart, and then your player would also shine blue like this. So yeah, so I'm pretty close to being able to have the slimes hurt the player. Yeah, I guess that's about it. It's kind of funny that when the rats are really giant, the blood gets all messed up, but you know, looking at it at this size, it really does look totally fine, so I'm just going to leave it. At a certain point, I got to make progress, so I can't just keep being a perfectionist and trying to get every last detail correct. It looks perfectly fine, so I'm just going to leave it. But yeah, these rats will be actual rats. They won't be this rough draft that you see now. And this stickman will be a real woman wearing a costume. It's just going to take a long time before I actually get that in. Especially since it's like a pandemic right now, it makes it harder to like go to the store and shop for costumes, and it makes it harder to like hire models, which I may go to like an actual modeling agency for. I also need to save more money to be able to do that. But yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool when it is eventually like that. Instead of having these rough drafts, when it's the real thing, it'll be pretty cool. So yeah, so that's about it. Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm gonna work on next, but hopefully it'll be something cool to show off. Guess that's about it. So yeah, I'll see you next time.